Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are safe. I hope you are doing well. I hope your family is safe. Tough times indeed, unprecedented times. We've never seen anything like it. And even at a time like this, it's incredible how a support system is parallelly working on so many initiatives. One such initiative is something that you ought to know about, something that you need to be privy about is Ventilate Bengaluru. Ventilate Bengaluru is a volunteer driven initiative of working professionals, entrepreneurs, and corporates. The aim is to save lives by rapidly building makeshift ICU wards by adding 100 ventilator beds in the government hospitals. To tell us more about this initiative, I have with me the Vice President of Keystone, Indu Kannan. Thanks, Indu, for joining us. We also have the Senior Programming Manager from Adobe. We have Mr. Sumant Guha joining us on the show as well. Really appreciate your time, guys. To begin with, I see a complete action plan that's been laid out. What is Ventilate Bengaluru all about?
Hey, Sriram, first of all, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity and platform to talk about this initiative. As all of us know, the second wave of COVID-19 has hit the country really bad, and with increased number of cases, irrespective of government, citizen, corporate houses doing their bit to come out of it, still we see a lot of losses and losses in terms of the lives. So Ventilate Bengaluru was an idea and initiative which was formed by a couple of volunteers within the industry. Some of them are working professionals, some entrepreneurs from different background. And the whole idea was to come and make sure that we do contribute some to the society and to the government so that we help in saving lives which are getting lost just because of the lack of medical facilities. So the overall idea of Ventilate Bengaluru is to add up to 100 ICU beds with the complete setup and deploy them to the state hospital and the government hospital which are identified by the state government. As you went, Ventilate Bangalore is not only just going to take care of the deployment part, they're also going to work very closely with the government to ensure that these beds are utilized properly and we share these numbers and data with all the supporters on a continuous basis.
Wow, incredible. And it's amazing to see entrepreneurs, corporates, people from the government, all of them step in at the same time as well. What was that brainwave? What was that origin, if I may ask, as to how Ventilate Bengaluru came to be?
So Sriram, thank you so much. I think, great opportunity. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. So the two things about Ventilate Bengaluru, right? One was that there is this entire mass, there is this feeling of, what can I say, of inadequacy, of not being able to help in this scenario that is there amongst all of us, right? We all want to be able to make a difference, but in most cases there is a sense of helplessness, and I think that is what is something that is very difficult for us to digest day in and day out, that there is so little that we can do. So we felt that if we could bring in this critical mass of people and bring them together to make an impact on ground. That was the other important thing. How can we make a difference, a palpable difference on ground, where the needle can shift? If we know the needle, it's not a massive shift, but it is still a shift, right? And that is a visible shift. I think those were the two things. And, how can we do it? See, it's difficult for us to, there's no point doing it outside of the edges of the government. So our point is the government is doing a lot of good work. Can we support them? Can we help them? And then we realize that, if we put in, it's that typical thing, right? Individually, there is little that we can do. But then when we pull in our resources, we realize that there is a lot that each one of us can do just by using our skills and bringing them to the table. And that is how the whole thing really came together, right? Like I said, making a palpable difference, giving people an opportunity to do things in their own way, right? Every volunteer of Ventilate Bangalore is bringing his, her or her own skills to the table and helping in the way they can, right? And can we do it with the government? Can we keep it open? Can we make it as transparent as possible? So all those things were the driving forces of Ventilate Bangalore, and those are the principles that we want to stand by.
I mean, few people with the right will get together and you can move mountains. Such an example
Yes.
for that. Well done, Ventilate
Yes.
Bengaluru. Joining hands with the government, what's that been like? Has it been very, very instrumental overall collaboration? What would you have to say, Suman?
Uh, if I may say my heart, trust me, to start off with, we never thought that the right or the interaction with the government is going to be so smooth. But huge round of applause to all the folks in the government who has been helping us with this initiative on multiple levels. I would, really want to call out name of Miss Priyanka Francis, who is the Commissioner of Panchayati Raj, and she is also taking the lead of all these campaigns, which are in line with the COVID-19 relief, especially driven by the corporate side. She has been really helpful in helping us to provide all the approval which is required to start the initiative. At the same time, she has been really proactive in terms of helping us out in identifying the vendors who are going to provide us with the ventilators. And since it is something which is going to be life-saving instrument, it has to be of certain specification, and it need to be approved by panel of specialists. So there are a lot of paperwork and approval which are behind the scene. So government is really helping us out with all those approvals. At the same time, they are also making sure that once the beds are deployed to government hospital, how these beds are going to be utilized. So they are working right now. We're in a process of working that out, wherein we come out with some sort of SLA or reporting structure, wherein we can report back it to all the contributors of this initiative, and they know exactly what their money or contribution they have done is actually working on ground.
I
Fabulous.
just
I
want to
mean,
add, Sriram, I
yeah.
think what is amazing today and what is the need of the hour is for public-private partnership. It's about, lending wings, or, somehow supporting the government in what they're trying to do. And I think this is going to be another example of how we, without being part of the government, can still help and support them in what they want to do. And it's very heartening to see how and there are many more examples. I mean, we are just one initiative, but I think it is very commendable how the government is really open to support and help from from the private enterprise. And we want to be the via media which can channelize and provide an opportunity for individual citizens like you and me, Sriram, and for corporates who want to make a difference but are looking for a credible on-ground machinery that can show, like I said again, tangible results. And that's the aim of the entire initiative, that we publish, the way we would call it in corporate parlance, right? Proof of execution.
Yeah.
These are things that we are used to, right? We are used to having proof of execution. And that is how we want to ensure that, once the ventilator beds are installed, once they are commissioned, let people know that this is because of you. You have been able to make this happen. And I think that's where private-public partnerships and initiatives really work, because they have the wherewithal, but we don't realize how much we can do if we come together in an organized and an initiative like this. So that's what kind of put it all together.
Perfect. I think you've said it all. Now, if one wishes to support the cause, now, if one wishes to say, have their contribution felt, and knowing the fact that your contribution is going in the right direction to help so many people who are in need, what would be the call to action? Is there a website that people can go on to? How can one reach out if one wishes to be a volunteer as well?
Right. So first is that the whole point of this, Sriram, again, is many drops make an ocean. Some drops will be larger than the other, definitely, but that does not negate any drop, right? Every drop is needed. And I think that is the first thing that we want to call out there, right? That every bit counts, and every bit in what form, right? We have a lot, we forget how blessed we are, whether it is with resources in terms of funds that we want to contribute, or the connections that we have, the people that we know, right? So one, I'll answer the first part saying, of your question, which is how can somebody help, right? So one is definitely spread the word around, get more people involved, right? Let them be aware of it so that it becomes a wave, and people are aware that an initiative like this is happening, right? Contribute as an individual. Um, a lot of us have some say, or it would be great if people could help us with corporate funds as well. There are a lot of corporates out there who are willing and eager to be part of on-ground initiatives like this, right? So that is another way that people can help us. So one is spread the word around. Be irrespective of how big or small the donation, it is every bit counts. Every bit counts here, and it's going to make a difference. And third is, it would be great if if people could bring in the corporates that they represent, and have such initiatives internally in terms of CSR. If they could bring those CSR initiatives onto the table, those are a huge contributions and efforts that would really help in our space. Each one of us can bring in so many people onto the table, and that's what we are looking at. Sumant, over to you in terms of the modality of how it can be done.
Yes, so we already have our website live. They can log into www.ventilatebengaluru.com, and they can find all the details in terms of the project, this initiative, who are the core team members working in, and they can always, use the fundraising link, which is mentioned on the website, which is collected on behalf of renowned NGO Give India. Apart from that, I would also request all your followers and listeners to go to LinkedIn, social media platform like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, search for Ventilate Bengaluru, try to follow this and spread as much as possible. Even if you're making, say, X amount of contribution towards this initiative, but if you try to share this, noble cause within your network on multiple social media channels available, I think that X comes back with 10 times X, and helps in the initiative. So as Indu mentioned, that no contribution is small, and even if they don't want to contribute from a monetary point of view, I would still insist them and request them to share this idea and this thought with the other peoples within their network.
Yeah. This is something that it's worth sharing and worth passing on. This is an R factor that we want to be really high. Even if we can't control the virus's R factor right now, and it really, I mean, and there are people out there. See, again, there are people globally. There are people out there who are really pained to see the situation here, and right now, there is no point blaming people or talking about what went wrong. I think enough has been said and written about it. And rather than being armchair intellectuals, or, I think it's time for us to step up and address the really dire need. And I know, and I think, again, like I said, there are a lot of people who are doing work here. And sadly, there is a lot to be done. But the one thing that we believe is lives should not be lost. As a, what can I say, as a disease, as an ailment, it should be something that you should be able to recover. So that is what we want to address. We want to address and deaths that are happening because of unavailability of something that you and I consider as our birthright. A bed, a hospital facility is not something that should be a privilege. It is not something that is available to a lucky few, and it should not be rationed. It is not something that you can have a shortage of in a state like Karnataka and a city like Bangalore. That's not fair. I think that anguish is what kind of brought us together, saying, we understand, it is something that you should be able to get out of. I am somebody who has come out of the of COVID, but it's not something that you should die of. And I think that's what we are trying to. And we feel that 100, we want to start with 25 in the next 10 days, and that's possible. And we believe that if the moment we think it's possible, it will happen, and progress to 100, and ensure that at the last mile, people are saved. They don't die because ventilators are not available. That's not just tragic. That should not happen.
No better example of how the government, the corporates, of individuals coming together to form a group like this and an initiative like this, Ventilate Bengaluru. All the details are in the description below. You can log on to their website. On the fundraisers section of the Give India website, you need to search for Ventilate Bengaluru. If not monetarily, you can still contribute by spreading the word, sharing this with as many people, your friends, family, and beyond, so that everyone gets to know the good work that's happening and there's positivity all around. Ventilate Bengaluru, Indu Kannan and Sumant Guha, thank you so very much for spending time with us one more time. And you take care of yourself, be safe, and let's hope for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sriram. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.